Hospitality Meets is brought to you by RotaCloud, the simple workforce management software for hospitality teams. RotaCloud lets you create and share rotas, record attendance, and manage your team's annual leave, all in less time than it takes to make a brew. It can also make life easier for your staff, allowing them to check their rotas, request holiday, and even pick up extra shifts, all through the RotaCloud mobile app. Start your 30-day free trial today by visiting rotacloud.com/Phil and find out how much easier managing your team can be. Welcome to Hospitality Meets with me, Phil Street, where each week we take a light-hearted look into the stories and individuals that make up the wonderful world of hospitality. Today's guest is Chetan Bhanot, Group General Manager at the Mandeville Hotel and Pendley Manor. Coming up on today's show, Chetan has a forgetful moment.
By the way, I can't remember how I got here.
Phil sets up a hospitality crisis division. I was like a hospitality cobra division. And Chetan fancies a career in maintenance.
Now I'm in that position wherein I can hold the ladder for a lot of other team members.
All that and so much more as we chat through Chetan's awesome journey so far. Chetan is one of the nicest human beings within hospitality, and he's got more than a few lessons in this chat. So please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like and a share wherever you can. Enjoy. And a huge Hospitality Meets welcome to Chetan Bhanot.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Well, thank you for having me. We're actually in your place. So, yes, if you want to tell the world what it is that you actually do.
So I work as Group General Manager and I manage the Mandeville Hotel, which is a luxury boutique hotel in London on Marylebone. And I also manage the Pendley Manor Hotel, which is a 4-star hotel in Tring, Hertfordshire, with beautiful 84 bedrooms. And we've got a nice spa, swimming pool, sauna, and 9 conference rooms. And then we've got a big Rose Garden Grand Suite, which we've recently built, where we can do a sit-down for up to 500 people.
Oh, wow. Wow. Do you know, I didn't know that. And do you know that I'm right on the Essex-Hertfordshire border. I could get over to that property quite easily.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you over.
Yeah, I should have done it then.
We should have.
Yeah, but because I mean, you and I have known each other for a few years, as we were talking about before we turned the microphone on. And I think I've met you in this exact property 3-4 times, something like that, over the course of 10, 12 years-ish, something like that. Yes. Time flies.
It does. So I still remember the first time I met you at the bar. It was in 2016, so I remember very clearly.
There we are.
Yes.
There we are.
And it's been an absolute pleasure to know you since then.
Well, you say that, we haven't gotten into the interview yet, have we? So.
Well, yeah, my opinion might change.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we've just spent probably 45 minutes putting the world to rights, haven't we, before we've even switched the microphone on. So hopefully we've got something left to talk about. But no, thank you very much for coming on the show. And I want to take you all the way back to the beginning of your career. And how did you get into hospitality in the first place?
So I did my hotel management in India. So I still remember when I was in school, I didn't know much about hospitality then. And it was one of my friends, so we were in the school together, and he said that he was going. So we in India we had to write an exam to get into hospitality school.
Right.
So he said,
as you should.
Yeah.
Professional industry.
Correct. It is.
Yeah.
It is. And he introduced me to hospitality, and I found it very fascinating. And then I wrote the exam. I got selected, and that's how my journey started.
Right. Was there a spark? Was there something that happened where you thought, that actually sounds like it could be a really cool avenue for me to pursue? Yes,
actually, because for me, I was into sports and a lot of team sports. So I used to love making friends and meeting people. And when I joined hospitality, it just kind of made sense, and if you think of it, it's all about people, everything, whether it's your team or it's the guests or it's your suppliers. And I really enjoy that, and I've always done. So it's been, actually, if I add the hotel school as well, it's been 32 years.
Is it really?
Yes.
Is it really? Well, you're giving your age away now, aren't you? But well, I mean, there's probably a lot of similarities between team sports and running a hotel, right?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Because one of the things you have to understand, no matter what your position is or what your title is, that you're still part of a team. And whether you're a general manager or a group general manager or a CEO, you have to understand that you have a certain role to play within the team. It's very similar to, whether you play football, you play cricket, you have a certain role to play. Even if you're the captain, you have a role to play within the team.
Yeah.
And that's something which, when you play sports, you realize, and that's exactly the same in hospitality.
Yeah, without question. And I think as well, from a team perspective, the thing that I've learned, and actually we've got somebody coming on the show who's going to confirm my bias on this probably at some point, is that, a high-performing team can be a high-performing team without any superstars.
Yes.
If you've got cohesiveness and clear direction and everybody's moving towards the same perspective and everybody's just doing the best that they can with what they've got, you can still create a high-performing team.
Correct.
It's like having Kylian Mbappe in Real Madrid, full of other superstars who are maybe all in it for themselves. Do you still get that same cohesion even though you've got on paper what looks like a high-performing team?
I mean, you're absolutely spot on. I mean, look at PSG.
Solved another problem.
Yeah, look at PSG, how they performed in the Champions League.
Yeah, when you take out the superstars.
Yes.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not advocating that you don't go searching for superstars as well, of course, but there's definitely something in, we ask a lot of people when you change a job from one organisation to another to just be able to switch on the talent on day one and, showcase to the world what you can do. But the reality is that person has moved from one system into another system. And if the system that they came from was high performing and everyone knew everything that was supposed to be happening, but then they go into a new system which is a little bit broken and nobody really knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing, it doesn't really matter how talented you are, you're going to struggle in that second environment. And I think a lot of the time we don't talk about that enough. We put too much emphasis on the individual to be able to fix a wider problem.
Yes.
And by God, we've gone deep quickly here.
Yes, and as I briefly mentioned when we were having a conversation, I strongly believe that, there are three key elements in hospitality or anywhere, which they have to work in tandem to get success. Mm-hmm. So it's basically the team. So you need to have a team who shares the same values and has the same commitment as you. And then you, of course, yourself, you have to push yourself and your team. And also the third element, which is very important, is the success, the owners, or the senior management, the support you get from them is very critical. So out of these three elements, even if one of them is not working properly, you will struggle to get success.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean, it's an endlessly fascinating subject, and when you say it out loud, it makes perfect sense, right? But it's way easier to talk about it, I think, in a lot of cases than to actually get these three elements absolutely nailed on correctly. And you need so many individual things to all work out.
Yes.
And that, the point you make about ownership, it can be a make or break.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, as I said, if you don't get the right support and from the owners, or if they don't share the same vision as you do, or they don't have the same commitment, no matter how hard you and your team they're going to try, you will not get success.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So what happened next then? You went off on the hotel school journey, and how did things progress from there?
So then I joined Hilton as a management trainee. So I worked with Hilton for about 3 years, and then with InterContinental for 2 years. And then I joined as one of the pre-opening managers for JW Marriott in Mumbai, which was a fantastic experience. Learned so much, had such fantastic managers, and the culture was great.
JW as well. I mean, that's still their plum 5-star brand, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it was the first JW Marriott in India.
Right. So a very high profile opening.
Yes, and it's a beautiful property, and I absolutely loved working there. And then, as I said, I had a few really good teachers. I learned a lot from them, and then I decided to move to London, and I also worked at Marriott Bredsall Priory before moving on to NH Hotels. And again, I absolutely loved working with NH. And as I was saying, the support of the senior management was so important because I learned so much from them. And also, it's the opportunities which they provided. were fantastic. And I absolutely loved working with NH. And I started there as a food and beverage manager. And when I left NH, I was the director of hotels for UK. And then I went as cluster general manager, managed the Bentley and the Heston Hyde Hotel, and then joined the Mandeville, where I've been over 9 years now. And
but you've progressed here as well. Like you started as Mandeville only,
yes,
and now you've got a couple of properties under your belt.
Yes, and I must say that we've seen good success and a lot of challenging times, especially with COVID and post-COVID and all the challenges with all the costs and other implications.
It never stops, does it?
It doesn't. Yes, I must say that COVID was probably one of the most difficult periods, and post-COVID as well for almost one more year. And again, one of the reasons is the fantastic support I have from the owners, who are fantastic. And also the team we have here, a few of the team members, they've been here like 45 years, 20 years.
Wow.
And we all share the same value, we have the same commitment. So it makes things easier. And, whenever you have challenging times, then it becomes easier to deal with.
No doubt. I mean, you can't tackle this on your own, right? I mean,
no,
that's the thing. You need you can be the most positive person on the planet Earth.
Yes.
But if you're not surrounded by good people, then it makes it very difficult to move forward.
Yes. And also because you can deal with a situation on your own if it's for a period of, say, a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. When it's like for 2 years, there are times when, you have reached your limit. And that's when, the support of the team and the owners and everyone pulling together makes such a huge difference. And that's what we went through. It's like, I'm sure there will be a lot of people who will be able to relate to this, that during COVID, whenever you open a new hotel, it's a lot of effort and it's a big challenge. And during COVID, we did like 4 openings. We completely shut down and restarted the hotel. We lost a lot of team members and, rehire and then open it again and then close it again and then restart again. So,
and all the while you have to have a smile on your face.
Correct.
Very difficult to achieve.
Correct. So, I mean, I still remember I was in one of the meetings. I had COVID myself, and I had not fully recovered. Still, I had to come and have that meeting with the team, wherein unfortunately we had the full kitchen team who left us because they were offered a much, much higher salary. And it was during the busiest Christmas period.
Great.
Penley Manor. And so again, as you said, you have to smile. When I looked around the table, I could see a broken team. And then, I said, don't worry, we'll see it through. And we did. Everyone worked. We had team members from housekeeping helping in the kitchen. We had team members from sales, fantastic team members jumping in with the service. And we had a very successful Christmas. So had it not been, the support which they provided and the belief they had together, it would have been impossible.
Yeah.
So,
that's good. I mean, that is one of the greatest joys of this industry, I think. When you have that, when you've got a willingness of individuals to park the ego at the door and park the job title at the door, and actually what do we really need to do here as a team in order to be able to get through this. It's not necessarily about being super successful or the success here is getting to the other side of Christmas and everybody's still got a smile on their face. That's how you would probably measure success in that moment. And that's a thing that I just think that we don't talk about enough about this industry and how it has that as its kind of DNA. But also we can teach people that as well, in terms of a life skill that whether you stay in hospitality or not, you can then go and take that wonderful skill set of, I suppose you would call it a humanity skill set, and apply it to any time in your life where you've got to get around something that's a bit of a problem.
Correct. I mean, especially in hospitality, because everything is so dynamic, because, we're not dealing with machines as people. And if you meet the same person one day and you meet the same person the other day, that person can react to a similar situation in a very different way, and you have to deal with those things. And because it's so dynamic and you're under pressure and you face so many situations, you learn so much. It teaches you how to deal with pressure, which for any youngster who wants to come into hospitality should be a great incentive, because you will learn to deal with things, because this industry teaches you so much.
Yeah. I mean, one of the other things we were talking about before we turned the microphone on was perception of failure. And, a lot of that is around, especially somebody new coming into an environment where they maybe don't have the tools to deal with pressure or to deal with failure or whatever. But the critical thing that a business can offer is an environment in which to operate without fear of retribution.
Yes.
That failure is an inevitable part of what we're doing here.
Yes.
And that's fine.
Yes.
As long as you're going to learn from it and
Correct.
consistently do it,
Correct.
then you have an environment here in which we will allow you to fail.
Correct.
And when you have that, that's a really special thing. And it gives people confidence. It gives people confidence in each other as well, to be able to look after each other in their moment of need as a team or whatever that might look like.
Yes, and also, as we were discussing earlier, failure is kind of a negative word. If you just replace it by learning, it sounds so much positive.
Yeah.
And it's a fact, and there are a lot of people who say this, but I've experienced it as well, that you learn a lot from failure, more than you learn from success.
Yeah. You learn how to be lazy. That's
Correct.
what happens when you're successful.
And that one of the things which we were discussing, I'll say, so you're not what happens to you, you are how you choose to rebuild,
Yeah.
And COVID is the best example of how humans can adapt, and how, you can come out of one of the most difficult situations. And that is what hospitality teaches you. If you think, of course, a lot of businesses were affected, but hospitality was really was in a very, very bad state during COVID.
Yeah.
And
That's
how
not even a
we
negative
came
thing
out.
to say. That was fact.
Correct. And how we came out is phenomenal,
Yeah.
and how we're thriving now under all the challenges and stuff. Again, it's just something which should be celebrated and is not being celebrated enough.
Yeah. And sometimes the success is that you're still here.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm going to take you back in your journey, because we kind of blitzed through it very, very quickly. Back to Marriott. So you tell me the roles that you kind of progressed through within your. Well, let's go all the way back. Actually, you started as a management trainee within Hilton.
Yes.
How did your role progression?
So
take
then
hold?
I joined as a food and beverage executive position, because we, as part of the management training, we had to cover different departments, and then we had to choose which one you want to pursue. So I chose food and beverage. And then I became the restaurant manager with InterContinental. So there was a restaurant called Blue Elephant. They had a branch in London as well. So I managed that before moving to JW Marriott. And at JW Marriott, I opened the restaurant called Spices. And I still remember I had an absolute privilege to work with Bart Bowring, who was the director of food and beverage, and the general manager was Hans Robin. Both of them wonderful, wonderful people to work with. And I learned so much from them. And then with Marriott, then I moved to London, and then I worked at Marriott Bredsall Priory before moving to NH as food and beverage manager. Again, I had the privilege of working with Anya Loyens, who was the general manager then. Again, learned so much from her, and she helped me so much in my development and giving me the opportunities. And then I became part of what used to be a PDI program for future general managers very quickly. And then I became the assistant general manager in like a year's time, and then the general manager of Harrington Hall. Then I became director of hotels for UK for NH. And as I said, then moved here.
Yeah. There's a couple of points that immediately spring to mind there within your journey, and that's the importance of other people in your journey, right?
Yes.
That can be said of anybody's journey.
Yes.
But I always like to reinforce this point, because I think it's such an important point for anyone. Right? Who are we without the help of others, right,
Correct.
to get us somewhere. And whether that's, it doesn't really, again, I can come back to the talent point, it doesn't really matter how much talent you have. If you're not surrounded by people that can help you maximize that, then you're still just going to fall flat on your face.
Correct. And sometimes I've had managers who maybe have not directly taught me something, but they have given me the opportunities to learn, or they have pushed me in the right direction, where I've learned a lot. So if I look back, it's been an absolute privilege to work with these wonderful senior managers, because I still remember. I'll also mention when I was director of hotels UK, I was working with René Boutela, who used to be the head of operations for our region, which included Netherlands, Belgium, South Africa, and UK. And it was such a privilege to work with him, because he was so supportive. He would provide me with opportunities where I could learn and develop myself. And thanks to all these people, I am where I am.
Yeah.
And also the owners, I'm working with at the moment. It's been an absolute privilege, because the exposure I get when I work with them, the support I get, I'm involved in a lot of things wherein I've, in my role, probably if I would be somewhere else, I wouldn't get those opportunities, and I'm really grateful. And no matter how many years you work in this industry, every day you learn something new.
No doubt.
And that's the most important thing, that you have to keep learning. You have to make sure that you're up to date about what's happening around you, and keep developing. It's a journey, it never stops.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. And I think the thing about that as well is that it can work the other way too. If you, whatever stage you're at in your career, and you're exposed to somebody who you don't necessarily respect, or you don't necessarily feel like are getting the best out of you, that can also be a learning experience as well, right? In terms of you then know, right, I don't want to work for somebody like that. I don't want to take the lessons that they're teaching and become that person.
Yeah.
But the thing that happens, I think, that I haven't really thought about until you just said it then, is, all of these amazing people that help get you somewhere, and you classify yourself, you should classify yourself as one of them. I think you are an elevator of humans. You like to lift people up.
Yes.
And take them somewhere, and take them to as far as they can go with you. And if there's nowhere else for them to go, let them fly. And
yes.
I've always admired that about you. But also, there's a real pay it forward mentality. It just comes naturally when people have done good things for you over the life of your career, right? You feel like, well, that's what I'm going to do now as well.
Yeah. See, one of the things which I tell a lot of team members, who are starting the journey as well and stuff, that during your journey, remember how many people have helped you, so that when you are in that position, you do the same.
Yeah.
Because it's very important for everyone to remember that. And I must say that there are a lot of team members who maybe at that moment don't realize when I'm supporting them, and when I'm giving them the opportunity. Because a lot of times people think learning is that that you sit down and I'm teaching you what to do, but it's not. Sometimes learning is that you give them the opportunity where they can learn or self-learn, because that's the best way of learning. So you give them the right exposure, the right tools, and let them do things. And then if they're doing something, or they're really wrong and stuff, you step in, but let them learn. And that is something which I've learned. If I look back, I don't think any of the senior managers and stuff have sat down with me and told me that, okay, this is a learning for you. No, they've given me the tools, the opportunities, and that support to learn.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel that the managers need to do. And for me, for how I see myself is, I just want to enjoy what I'm doing. I want to enjoy the challenges, and this is something which I strongly believe in, and that's what we do in our team as well. That work-life balance is very important, because it is important that the team members, when they come in, they give their 100%, but at the same time, they have enough time with their family. They can switch off completely, so that when you come back, you're fresh.
Yeah.
And same for me. I want to pursue, not just in hospitality, but I have some passions.
Really?
Cricket is one of them.
Is it really? I didn't know that about you.
So I want to pursue those as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things which a lot of people who are a bit hesitant to join hospitality, they have this perception that it's long hours and different crazy hours and stuff. But it's not true. You enjoy it so much. And now, especially now, I can tell you, as an industry, we have evolved so much that there's proper work-life balance. All the managers, they understand the importance of work-life balance, and there's so much awareness on mental health as well, that anybody who wants to learn people skills, who wants to feel comfortable under pressure, and who wants a global passport, hospitality.
Well, indeed. I mean, you're a kind of case in point, right? You've worked in two countries so far. You never know what the future brings. But no, it's a very, very good point around what this industry brings. I'm going to say something controversial. You can agree or not, but I'm an advocate for dropping the work-life balance as a tag. And actually, I just want to use the word balance, because if we are offering balance to people when they're coming to work in our organisations, I think that's quite a powerful message. And rather than focus on the work-life, work is part of life. Life is part of work. So let's drop those two words that are unimportant, and let's just focus on balance. If we all had balance, I think we'd all be a happier bunch.
Yes, I agree.
And we know that cricket brings you balance.
Yes, it does.
For context, that was one of the things that we were speaking about in depth, was we were putting the cricketing world to rights before we switched the microphone on. But again, I want to go back to early stage and really just ask you a very, very kind of straight up question. Was there a time whereby you thought, this is not for me? Or were you always kind of just really focused, what, I've found my home. Hospitality is the direction for me?
I don't think I ever felt like that.
That's the right answer.
I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I have always enjoyed being in hospitality. As I said, I enjoy meeting people, interacting with people. So, as I said, it's going to be 32 years, and I don't think even once I felt that, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Had that been the case, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. No. And you're a kind of the case in point. I feel like I've maybe led myself down my own path here, but the thing that I've always loved about spending time with you is that you do give off the energy that you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yes.
And that I don't think comes about by accident. I think that's a really intentional place that you end up, because you are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
5-star hospitality means having the right people in the right place at the right time, and that's exactly where RotaCloud can help. RotaCloud is the online platform that makes planning rotas, recording attendance, and managing annual leave easy. Its simple, drag-and-drop interface lets you create and share rotas with your team in minutes, while our built-in budgeting tools mean you'll know exactly how much you're spending on staffing before sending the rota out. RotaCloud also makes life easier for your staff, allowing them to check their rotas, request time off, and pick up extra shifts, all through the RotaCloud mobile app. Start your 30-day free trial today by visiting rotacloud.com/Phil and find out how much easier managing your team can be.
Was there, in that learning phase, was there any monumental mistakes that you made that you look back on now that you chuckle about? Because, at the time it was a nightmare, but now you go, well, we talked about failure, right? These are the things that you have to learn.
Well, I must say I went through a phase wherein,
just made mistakes every day.
Well, it wasn't I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but it was kind of, it changed a lot of things. So I went through a period wherein, I was restaurant bars manager, and I still stayed restaurant bars manager for some time. And when you're young, you're ambitious, you want to grow very quickly. And I still remember when that happened, I was a bit edgy, and I was speaking to my dad, and he said that, what's wrong? And he asked me, and then I spoke to him, and he said, well, the only thing I would say is, earlier I used to see you enjoying your work, and you were not bothered about, getting a position or a title and stuff. And now when I see you, you're more focused on the position.
Right.
And when I look back, that's something which I chuckle about, that, how crazy I was. And then I changed that and I started to enjoy work and everything. And then the success came, the positions came. Why? Because I was just enjoying work. And
I mean, maybe the best lesson that anyone has ever said on this podcast, to be honest, because it's true. And there's a lot of chasing, right, when you're young.
Correct.
For sure. And we've all done it. And you get wide-eyed around the prospect of that next level and all of the time. I was just talking to somebody just yesterday, actually, at an event that was at around, if I look back on, I was promoted really quickly early on in my career, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But equally, I probably didn't feel it as much in the moment because I was supported by really good people who kept seeing things in me that I just didn't feel I was ready for, but I just said yes and went with it. But at no point did I ever feel like I had a consolidation period, whereby I was learning the skills and consolidating the skills that were being given to me on a day-to-day basis. And so we spoke about the broken systems. When I relocated from that particular job into a completely new culture and a completely new place, I was not ready for it because, one, I wasn't old enough. I didn't have the right maturity to be able to take my mind and adapt to the problem in front of me. And the other point was that I went from an environment whereby I was supported through failure into an environment that was, well, if you fail, you're out kind of thing. And I really look back on that from what you've just said there as well around, that was partly because I want the next thing, I want the next thing, I want the next thing. But actually, I've made way better progress in my career when I've just learnt to enjoy what I'm doing and do the best that I can now. And the right thing will get presented to me in that, at the time that it's ready to, rather than me chasing things. It's the same principle in the kitchen. I've spoken to this actually around chefs who are chasing Michelin stars. Actually, the ones who keep the stars the longest are not chasing the stars at all.
Yeah.
They're cooking exactly what they want to be cooking from the heart,
the passion,
with the supplier network that they love, and and everything is just coming together and creating the success because it's all happening organically rather than forced.
Yes.
Yeah, we are solving some problems. Yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be the greatest career podcast that's ever aired. I heard a great saying actually. In fact, I didn't hear it. I was riffing this when I was trying to prepare the keynote speech that I did yesterday. Around you kind of coming back to career building earlier on, around the how to climb your career ladder. The best way to do it is to hold the ladder for others to climb, and be there to support, because at some point that will flip because of kindness and humanity and all of that. And it sounds very woo-woo and very whimsical, but the reality is when you start to again, park the ego at the door and focus more on the collective, then you tend to rise with things as opposed to, getting your elbows out and getting in other people's way.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it's so important that you learn from your experience, wherein, in my case, as I said, there have been so many managers who've supported us and stuff, and you gave the example of the ladder. It's exactly the same. Now I'm in that position wherein I can hold the ladder for a lot of other team members. And I have that self-realization that one of the reasons I am where is because throughout my career, there have been people who've held that ladder for me.
Yeah.
So whoever is starting their journey as managers and stuff, this is, I think, the most important thing they have to understand is that they are in that position because there have been so many people who've held that ladder for them. And now it's their turn to do the same for others.
Yeah, and the amount of conversations that I've had on this show with people who, I would look at as being, having aspirations to be like. I'll never forget when Harry Murray said yes to coming on the show. I thought, wow, he's one of my hospitality heroes. And it was one of those things whereby even he spoke about, the leg up that you think, you just look at him and you just think he must have been amazing from when he started.
Yeah.
But he talks about the leg up that you get and the fact that people see something in you that you don't see yourself, and you need that when you're in your formative years, when you're trying to figure out who you are and what your identity is and what you're going to stand for and all of the important things. And I just find it really, really interesting. I think it's something that we absolutely need to remind people from time to time that, that success is also quite, it's something if you experience it alone, it's not that exciting.
No, it's not.
To experience it with other people is just way more exciting.
Correct. I mean, I'm sure everyone will relate to this, that whenever you get success, you want to share that with your loved ones and your family and your friends and stuff. Same with the team members, You want to share that success with your team members. And I have such wonderful team members. They're more like family now, and we support them whenever it's required, and we share their successes as well. Like one of the team members wanted to do a course, we supported that team member, and then we celebrated his success because that's what it is about, And we talk about being professional and stuff. Sometimes I just feel that it is important that we don't use that term professional when we're dealing with people. We have to have that human element in them, because one of the things I've realized is when you have one-to-one connection with team members, it's much easier to deal with difficult situation or difficult conversation when you don't have that connection. And a lot of times you don't have to use the term, a professional conversation, because then suddenly, there is a barrier in between. And maybe because, I work with most of the team members I have for quite a few years, I find it much easier to have that one-to-one conversation with them, just over a coffee or just a little bite, than, have the professional conversation wherein suddenly the person who's sitting in front of you seems to be somebody you've not known for 5 years.
Yeah. Why didn't you hit your Q3 targets?
Right. So I think, and also one of the things I always say is that if, we miss our targets and stuff, it's all of us, because nobody wants to miss the targets, they want to achieve it. Maybe they've not got the knowledge or they missed out on a few things. So instead of saying that you missed the target and stuff, you identify why, and together you find the solutions. And that's what we do. And I think that works so much better than saying that, you missed the target and you should have done this, or you should have. We sit down together and see, what could have been done differently together. And, as I said, most of the team members I work very closely with, been here for so many years that, we just have an open conversation. We look at things together and we find solutions together. And it works so much better.
Yeah. You almost got a telepathic understanding now as well of each other, probably with.
Correct.
Yeah, but that means your culture's alive, right?
Yes.
And it means that that things are not getting lost in silence, and that that you've created an environment whereby people can talk.
Yes.
And that's massively important.
Yes, and it's. I mean, most of the team members here, they call me with my little name or nickname and stuff like that, and the reason is that
they have to do with cricket, isn't it?
they have to have this comfort level wherein if I think something and then they have a different opinion or they see things differently, they should be able to express it, because one of the things we have to realize, we're humans. I'm human as well, so there are a lot of things which I don't know, and also it's important that when you have a team with different skill set, for example, a chef who cooks so well, it's impossible for me to match him, and he will have his own opinion. He will have a very different way of thinking, which is important, because that's how you come together and find the right solution. And they have every right to disagree and come up with a different opinion. And collectively, then we reach the right conclusion.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Totally. Couldn't agree more. I want to talk to you about funny stories. Love talking about funny stories on this show. This is the thing for me about stories generally. I've always had a fascination for why people do the things they do and all of that. But the stuff that really, really sticks every single time is that moment that makes people laugh. It's the big uniter. I mean, laughter is the big uniter of people. But yeah, tell us a funny story from your career so far.
Well, there are so many actually, because as I said,
It's just a walking comedy show,
yeah,
isn't it?
Well, hotels is 24/7, 365 days operation, and there's so many things going on.
Yes, you're dealing with humans every single day as well.
Exactly. And one of the things which comes to my mind is we had a guest, and I still remember I came in the morning, and this guest was getting really upset. He was in the lobby, and my office is next to the lobby, so I went to see him. I said, "What happened?" And the front office manager was there as well, and the concierge was there. And he said, "Oh, I had parked my car and it's stolen," and he was calling the police and stuff. And then, of course, we started to help out, and we said, "Okay, fine, let's look at the CCTV." So I called the maintenance manager to look at the CCTV. And as we were doing this process, and he was like really panicking. And suddenly he realized, "Oh, by the way, I can't remember how I got here." And then we looked at the CCTV. He actually took a cab and came because he was so drunk.
Yeah, cracking night, I was about to say, yeah.
And then we found out that he had actually parked the car near the restaurant where he went and the club where he went, and he left the car there. So we found the car.
But he was absolutely adamant that he'd driven. Well, thank the Lord he didn't drive back, right? Jeez.
So it was really funny, and when he was quite embarrassed as well. But yeah, that's one of the stories I remember.
Yeah, but I think as well, I know the story because you've obviously shared it with me before, but that's not the end of the story either. I mean, it might be the end of the funny element, but but what happened next, I think, is also kind of, again, showcases how you can turn kind of any situation really into something that ends up being just a really positive thing.
Yes, it does. And also, I think in a lot of times when you are under pressure and you face these situations and stuff, you can still have a little bit of sense of humor. It helps to lighten things.
It does. Yeah. I mean, there are moments, right? You've got to pick your moments.
Yes, that is true.
Not every guest is going to see the funny side in the moment that they find themselves in. It still amazes me to this day how irate people used to get on cruise ships about broccoli. It was either undercooked or overcooked. So there was no, and from one comment to the next, it was almost like one person would say that broccoli last night was overcooked, and then the next person would say that broccoli last night was undercooked, and you go, okay. And if you're dealing with broccoli and humour, that's a tightrope. But yeah, the thing about that story is that you turned it into a positive by actually helping the guy go and reclaim his car.
Yes, we did. No, it was really funny. And I still remember the look on his face when we looked at the CCTV and we saw him coming out of the cab and being helped.
It's like that scene in, which Leonardo DiCaprio movie is it? Wolf of Wall Street, I think, when there's a scene where he doesn't think he was that bad and he drove a Lamborghini back to wherever they were staying, and then wakes up in the morning and the Lamborghini's basically parked up a lamppost. Thankfully your guy didn't do that. This is the thing about what you've got here is a living, breathing thing, right? And as you say, 24/7, 365 days a year.
Yes.
You see all sorts of life in an environment like this, and that's what makes it interesting.
Yes.
As well. If it was the same guest every single time, you just go, okay, well, they want that, then there we go. You need the guys to forget where they parked the car to bring the joy into your day sometimes.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I mean the flip side of that, of course, is that, and again I'm going to kind of focus on the stories, is that from your notes there was something that happened that you were pretty prominent in the hospitality industry at the time that was also scary beyond COVID, which you spoke about, scary in its own way, of course. But there was something that you were kind of right in the thick of, I think, from reading your notes around. So yeah, tell us about that.
I think it was probably one of the scariest moments. So it was in 2011, when the London riots happened.
I can't believe that was 2011.
Yes.
It just sometimes feels like that was yesterday.
Yes, and I still remember I was in Harrington Hall, NH Harrington Hall in Kensington. And we were getting these news that, the riots are spreading and stuff. And suddenly we got a call from the hotel, which was not too far from us, saying that, they've been the writers have come into the hotel and they're just thrashing and everything and stuff. So we immediately called the police, and the response we got was even more scary, because they said, they don't have
we're busy.
They said, we don't have the resources. We're sorry, we can't send anyone. And then, again, as in hospitality, you learn how to deal with things and stuff. So we started our protocol. We switched off all the lights. We pulled all the curtains on the ground floor. We made sure that all the doors are locked.
You would have guests at
yes,
this point as well.
so
right?
we had a lot of guests. So we went to every room and we asked the guests to stay away from the windows. We pulled the curtains in all the bedrooms. We made sure that they're away from the windows, because we didn't know what's going to happen and stuff. And also the team members, and there was some guests who were in the dining area and stuff. So we put them in one of the conference rooms downstairs. So it was very, very scary. And we had one of the team members, we made him responsible to make calls to all the other hotels and to tell us if something is happening. And then we did get 1 or 2 calls where, they could see that these writers were close to the shopping areas. They were breaking into shops and stuff. So it was scary, but, we pulled it through. But probably that was one of the most scariest.
I can imagine the heart rate went up a little.
Yes, especially when you were responsible for, your team is there, the guests are there, of course the property as well, and you can't do much.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, like the deepest part of offering hospitality is that somebody feels safe in your presence, right? I mean, and if that feels threatened, I can only imagine what you must have been going through. It sounds like from a set of protocols, though. I mean, it's like you're always taught how to deal with bullies at school. If you don't engage, they'll just get bored and they'll go somewhere else. I mean, and that was effectively what you did. You just you disengaged your hotel from the world, really, in order to hopefully that they just you're too boring for them basically, and that they move on to the next place.
Yes. So we were lucky.
But also 2 things there. One, we've spoken about problem solving right before. There's another prime example of a problem that had to be solved pretty quickly.
Yes.
And that's the extreme end of the kind of stuff that may happen. Thankfully, that doesn't happen. It rarely happens ever.
Yes.
But the flip side of that is what you said about the coming together of the hospitality community in that moment to help each other.
Yes.
Right? And this is something I think is super special about the world of hospitality.
Yes.
Is that yes, you compete with the hotel, it's just around the corner, but all you're really competing with is to have your bedroom filled or whatever. When it comes down to it, you all help each other out.
You have to. I mean, it's like, you go back to the same thing about sports, when you are on the field, you're competing against each other, but outside the field, you're friends.
Yeah.
And you help each other, and it's exactly the same. So with us as well, we have some wonderful hotels around us, and whenever they need anything from us, we're there for them, and vice versa. And this was kind of the perfect example so the calls we got during that period, so the best thing was that, which we really appreciated, that they remembered to call us and to inform us and to update us, and we were doing the same, So it helped so much during that period, because, as I said, there was no other support.
Yeah. And it's like a hospitality Cobra division.
Correct.
All on lines through to each other. But no, I mean, what a story. I mean, I can only imagine that the scariest thing that ever happened to me on ships was nothing. Although we had a ship in the fleet. I wasn't on that ship at the time, but it got hit by a freak wave and knocked out 2 decks worth of windows, and one of my mates nearly got sucked out into sea because he was on his downtime and having a snooze in his cabin at the time, and the water came flooding into his cabin and nearly pulled him back out. He never went back to sea after that, so I can only imagine the trauma felt in that moment. But these are extreme examples, but they're also part and parcel of what you have to deal with in your life, right? I mean, your adversity is there, and it's never not going to be potentially there. And I say that as a positive person. I actually now believe that adversity is one of the greatest things that you can have in your life, because much like your comment around what you learn in success and failure, what adversity teaches you is phenomenal. Yeah, that sounds like a very deep way to finish it, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
But actually, very quickly, if you still got time, I just wanted to ask you about the future of the Mandeville and Pendley Manor. What's in motion? What's it looking like?
We have some exciting projects. So we've got the planning approval for Mandeville Hotel to add 43 plus bedrooms, few more conference rooms, and the plan is to refurbish all the existing bedrooms as well. A lot of them will become bigger in size, and also we are going to move our restaurant and bar onto the Marylebone Lane, but we don't plan to start this project sometime soon. So
Right.
will be.
But it is there as an option.
It's there, yes. So we started some implementation things, but we don't plan to start this in the next couple of years. And for Pendley Manor, again, very exciting. As I told you, we launched our Rose Garden Grand Suite, where we can do a sit down for up to 500 people.
That's not an insignificant sit down.
Yes, it's a stunning property, and it's a stunning property.
Yeah,
and the Rose Garden Grand Suite is an absolutely stunning venue. And we are at the moment, we've submitted the planning application to add in the near future 47 new bedrooms. So it's 84 bedrooms. So we plan to add 47 more bedrooms, and also in the planning is that we plan to add extra spa rooms. At the moment, the swimming pool is on the ground floor. We're going to take it into the basement, so we'll have a new swimming pool, steam sauna, so upgrade our spa facilities as well. Also, later on, to build a stunning ballroom with a similar capacity to the Rose Garden Grand Suite.
Right. My word. You've got your work cut out over the coming years.
But
That's
it's really exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you all the very, very best with that, and I gratefully appreciate you taking the time to have a chat to me today. Loads more we could talk about, I'm sure. We probably need to, the pair of us, start a leadership podcast or something like that. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. But no, I wish you guys all the success in the world. Thanks so much for spending some time.
Absolute pleasure, Phil. Whenever I see you, it's an absolute pleasure.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. And there we have it. Chetan there with stories, lessons and heart in equal measure. What a cracking episode. Equal parts genius, graft and the occasional guest-based mystery. We will of course be back next week with another awesome journey from hospitality, so have yourselves a cracking week and I'll see you then.